So hello everyone, I am Monica from IELTS 9 channel. Okay, at the end you have to subscribe and like my channel, but not now. But now what you will be doing, try to understand what I am going to do in this video. So here in this video I will be solving your multiple choice questions problem that every IELTS test taker has this problem. So from every listening test I have taken these four kind of sets. So and in every listening you will be getting at least four MCQ questions in every listening test. In fact more than that, sometimes some students has given me a report that they have given me reports about sometimes 10-12 MCQ questions were there in their exam. So that's why it is important to solve this problem. So simultaneously you have to work with three things. First, your eyes should be on the question paper. Okay, your ears should be at the speakers, what the speaker is saying, audio means, and your pencil, your eyes, your pencil, and eyes, ears, pencil, and definitely your focus, your concentration is required. If your concentration is there, you will definitely get your answer correct. And of course you are doing it first time or second time or 10th time at least, don't worry. With this video you will improve your multiple choice question, I guarantee you. Okay, but stay with this video and I will be telling you, I will be playing 4 questions audio every time. I will also be solving. If you will get 4 out of 4 answers, it means you are going good, you are at the right track. Then don't repeat these 4 questions video here. If you are getting 2 out of 4 out of these 4 every set will be having 4 questions, then please repeat the 4 questions video here and then do it again. This is the solution. Do that MCQ questions audio again with me. Okay, now before starting, what I am going to do, that I have done it already, my homework. So when they will be giving you 30 seconds to look at the questions from 11 to 14, definitely you are going to read every question statement. You have to underline the main important word, because name we know, we will come to know, but these words the speaker can use it different word like setup. So originally he can change the word, manufactured goods he can change the word. So this homework you need to do. When he will be saying, just look at the question, read it thoroughly. Okay, and definitely he will be speaking about everything, but whenever he will be changing some words relating to this, then definitely that would be the answer. Okay, you will come to know. Let's do it one by one.
Part 2. You will hear the managing director of a company called Stevenson's welcoming a group of work experience students. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning everyone, and welcome to Stevenson's, one of the country's major manufacturers of metal goods. Thank you for choosing us for your 2 weeks of work experience. My name is Julia Simmons, and since the beginning of this year I've been the managing director. Stevenson's is quite an old company. Like me, the founder, Ronald Stevenson, went into the steel industry when he left school. That was in 1923. He set up this company when he finished his apprenticeship in 1926, although he actually started making plans 2 years earlier in 1924. He was a very determined young man. Stevenson's long-term plan was to manufacture components for the machine tools industry, although in fact that never came about, and for the automotive industry, that is cars and lorries. However, there was a delay of 5 years before that happened, because shortly before the company went into production, Stevenson was given the opportunity to make goods for hospitals and other players in the healthcare industry. So that's what we did for the first 5 years. Over the years, we've expanded the premises considerably. We were lucky that the site is big enough, so moving to a new location has never been necessary. However, the layout is far from ideal for modern machinery and production methods, so we intend to carry out major refurbishment of this site over the next 5 years. I'd better give you some idea of what you'll be doing during your 2 weeks with us, so you know what to expect. Most mornings you'll have a presentation from one of the managers to learn about their department, starting this morning with research and development. And you'll all spend some time in each department, observing what's going on and talking to people, as long as you don't stop them from doing their work altogether. In the past, a teacher from your school has come in at the end of each week to find out how the group were getting on, but your school isn't able to arrange that this year.
Now, I lost my focus, that's why I missed this question. So that's why you need to focus on your this paper also and audio also. You need to focus on 3 things. 3 things will work simultaneously. Okay, eyes, ears, and your pencil should move with the speakers, whatever they are saying the word. Means focus with these 3 things. That's why I have lost this marks. Okay, so let me check the answer and let me explain this exercise. Other exercises you will be explaining it by playing the video. Thus four question set again and again. Okay, so first he was saying he was planning in 1923 when he was doing apprentice and something he said, and then in 24 he said, and in 1926 he was saying something, he was planning something, it was like that. Okay, I will play it again, don't worry, and answer I will check it out. Now here he said manufacturing, instead of goods he said something different, implements, something like that. So earlier he thought we were planning to go for automotive car industry, car and all, he gave example also, but actually we did healthcare, we got some offer and something like that, healthcare industry, so they got something offer, that's why we did they manufactured for this healthcare for 5 years. So machine tools, so here I got my I got lost my focus here. That's why I was just looking for this word, same word I was just finding it. That's why I lost my focus here and I couldn't concentrate on this. So that you should not do it. When you will start doing listening, specifically these kinds of questions, you will be losing your focus for concentrating. That's why do this these 40 questions with me. And so initially I had to explain it everything, that's why for these 4 questions I am taking too much time, but other questions it will not be taking too much time. The program for the work experience group includes, yeah, that I could understand, make out. Here he said time to do research, that I couldn't get it clear. And these meetings with the teacher, at the end he was giving some points, like in school every time you will be meeting in the teacher, so in the past he was talking, so that he was just giving example, so that would not be our concern. So here throughout the day you will be meeting with HR department and different people over there. People here means staff, so that's why I have selected this. Now let me tell you the answers for this. Now answer is C, A, B and C. Okay, so of course I can understand I have one answer wrong. I should also play it again, but I am doing video, so that's why if you are having wrong 2 answers, at least please play typically these 4 questions audio again here in this video and then complete it. Then you can start other 36 questions with me. I will play it continuously, okay? Now another set of 4 questions you can see. I will just play it for you.
21 to 24.
So, Luke, for our next psychology assignment, we have to do something on sleep and dreams.
Right. I've just read an article suggesting why we tend to forget most of our dreams soon after we wake up. I mean, most of my dreams aren't that interesting anyway. But what it said was that if we remembered everything, we might get mixed up about what actually happened and what we dreamed. So it's a sort of protection. I hadn't heard that idea before. I'd always assumed that it was just that we didn't have room in our memories for all that stuff.
Me too. What do you think about the idea that our dreams may predict the future?
It's a belief that you get all over the world.
Yeah. Lots of people have a story of it happening to them, but the explanation I've read is that for each dream that comes true, we have thousands that don't, but we don't notice those. We don't even remember them. We just remember the ones where something in the real world, like a view or an action, happens to trigger a dream memory.
Right. So it's just a coincidence, really. Something else I read about is what they call segmented sleeping. That's a theory that hundreds of years ago, people used to get up in the middle of the night and have a chat or something to eat, then go back to bed. So I tried it myself.
Why?
Well, it's meant to make you more creative. I don't know why, but I gave it up after a week. It just didn't fit in with my lifestyle.
But most preschool children have a short sleep in the day, don't they? There was an experiment some students did here last term to see at what age kids should stop having naps, but they didn't really find an answer. They spent a lot of time working out the most appropriate methodology, but the results didn't seem to show any obvious patterns.
Right. Anyway, let's think about our assignment. Last time I had problems with the final stage, where we had to describe and justify how successful we thought we'd been. I struggled a bit with the action plan too.
I was okay with the planning, but I got marked down for the self-assessment as well. And I had big problems with the statistical stuff. That's where I really lost marks.
Right.
Now I got the actual clue when I played it again. So here she was saying self-assessment problem, then she explained about this. So he said yes. So initially she said about problem in self-assessment. That was the answer, and that was also she failed to reach any clear answer, any conclusion. That was the answer. And here it may be that was my correct initially when I did it first time. So by chance
questions 20.
So by chance, okay, so this is answer. And for this read one reason why we forget often dreams. So here they were using they were saying our memories cannot cope up with too much information, that they also said, but we might otherwise be confused about what is real. So they were confused about what's real. So something they have used the word with that. So that is the correct answer. So B, A, C and C, these 4 answers are there, okay, for this set of 4 questions. Now next set of 4 questions. Now again different set with six questions from 25 to 30 number questions. Again this is again interesting activity. Please do it. I will just do it what I can do it. I can just give the clue, I mean underline the thing when the question will change, and you can just go through it. Just do it, do this exercise twice a time. So they have given us time to read the questions. From 25th number is Adam suggests before, when they will give the time, they will announce that there are 2 person or 2 students, they will be talking, or 3 students. Adam will be there, so Rosie will be there, so they will announce the characters over here. Just take care of that, these things also, while when he will be giving time. So Adam suggests that restaurants could reduce obesity if their menus. So they will be talking about restaurants reduce obesity and menus. So offered. So of course, first we have to read the question statement only, because this much is time will be there. Students agree that food manufacturers deliberately make calorie counts, fail to provide accurate calorie counts, use ineffective. So while listening to these 3 options, just take care of the actual synonym or paraphrasing they will be saying. For 27th, Rosie say about levels of exercise in England. Whether the people is doing too much low or overestimate, or women now exercise more than they used to. So you will just listen to them properly. Adam refers to the location and width of stairs in a train station to illustrate. So basically, when they will be giving 30 seconds, you have to understand the question statement. What is the demand of question statement, that you need to understand. Then you will be easily come to know about the thing, what the writer is saying. So 29th, student agree. Here they are agree refers to the location and widths of stairs and reference to exercise in their presentation. And 30th number is, you can see, what are the students going to do next for their presentation, they are going to do in future. Prepare some slides, find out how long they have for it, decide on its content and organization. Now I will play it.
Part 3. You will hear 2 food science students called Adam and Rosie starting to plan their presentation on diet and obesity. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 24. 5 to 30.
So, what can we say about helping people to lose weight? There's a lot we could say about what restaurants could do to reduce obesity. I read that the items at the start of a menu and the items at the end of a menu are much more likely to be chosen than the items in the middle. So, if you put the low-calorie items at the beginning and end of the menu, people will probably go for the food with fewer calories without even realizing what they're doing.
I think food manufacturers could do more to encourage healthy eating.
How?
Well, when manufacturers put calorie counts of a food on the label, they're sometimes really confusing, and I suspect they do it on purpose, because food that's high in calories tastes better, and so they'll sell more.
Yeah, so if you look at the amount of calories in a pizza, they'll give you the calories per quarter pizza, and you think, oh, that's not too bad. But who's going to eat a quarter pizza?
Exactly.
I suppose another approach to this problem is to get people to exercise more.
Right. In England, the current guidelines offer at least 30 minutes of brisk walking 5 days a week. Now, when you ask them, about 40% of men and 30% of women say they do this. But when you objectively measure the amount of walking they do with motion sensors, you find that only 6% of men and 4% of women do the recommended amount of exercise.
So you can see why obesity is growing.
So how can people be encouraged to take more exercise?
Well, for example, think of the location of stairs in a train station. If people reach the stairs before they reach the escalator when they're leaving the station, they're more likely to take the stairs. And if you increase the width of the stairs, you'll get more people using them at the same time. It's an unconscious process and influenced by minor modifications in their environment.
Right. And it might not be a big change, but if it happens every day, it all adds up.
Yes. But actually, I'm not sure if we should be talking about exercise in our presentation.
Well, we've done quite a bit of reading about it.
I know, but it's going to mean we have a very wide focus. And our tutor did say that we need to focus on causes and solutions in terms of nutrition.
Oh, I suppose so. And we've got plenty of information about that. Okay, well, that will be simpler.
So, what shall we do now? We've still got half an hour before our next lecture.
Let's think about what we're going to include and what will go where. Then we can decide what slides we need.
Okay, fine.
Now I have not given my own answer. You just match answers with it. I am giving you the answers. Okay, I am giving you the answers. Just a minute. Now you can check your answers for. You can check your answers for these. If you have got 3 wrong, then please play this video again. Only for these 5 questions. Okay. 30th is C. 29th is A, 28th is A, 27th is B, 26th is A, 25th is C. Okay, do it again. If you have got a 5 out of 6, then it's good. You can go ahead. Now another set of multiple choice questions. 4 questions are here. So I will play the audio here.
Sport network and a recreation facility. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Right, next on the agenda we have traffic and highways. Councillor Thornton.
Thank you. Well, we now have the results of the survey carried out last month about traffic and road transport in the town. People were generally satisfied with the state of the roads. There were 1 or 2 complaints about potholes, which will be addressed, but a significant number of people complained about the increasing number of heavy vehicles using our local roads to avoid traffic elsewhere. We'd expected more complaints by commuters about the reduction in the train service, but it doesn't seem to have affected people too much. The cycle path that runs alongside the river is very well used by both cyclists and pedestrians since the surface was improved last year. But overtaking can be a problem, so we're going to add a bit on the side to make it wider. At some stage, we'd like to extend the path so that it goes all the way through the town, but that won't be happening in the immediate future. The plans to have a pedestrian crossing next to the post office have unfortunately had to be put on hold for the time being. We'd budgeted for this to be done this financial year, but then there were rumours that the post office was going to move, which would have meant there wasn't really a need for a crossing. Now they've confirmed that they're staying where they are, but the Highways Department have told us that it would be dangerous to have a pedestrian crossing where we'd originally planned it, as there's a bend in the road there, so that'll need some more thought. On Station Road, near the station and level crossing, drivers can face quite long waits if the level crossing's closed, and we've now got signs up requesting them not to leave their engines running at that time. This means pedestrians waiting on the pavement to cross the railway line don't have to breathe in car fumes. We've had some problems with cyclists leaving their bikes chained to the railings outside the ticket office, but the station has agreed to provide bike racks there.
how I was doing, do it like that. Okay, side by side, just listen to them properly. They had that lady had spoken so fast. Okay, so that's why I lost in this question. So you need to focus more on the questions. Okay, so I will be telling you the answers for these 4 questions. Please match it, and if you have 2 wrong, then do it again. So these are the answers for 11th C, A 12th, B is 13 and B is 14. Okay, so I was confused here, otherwise I have selected almost 3 questions correct. Okay, now come to the next exercise. Now next 4 questions for self practice. These are the questions, multiple choice questions. You can see these 4 questions. I will play the audio here.
You will hear a woman giving a presentation about a holiday on an island in Britain that her company organizes. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
Good morning. My name's Erica Matthews, and I'm the owner of Matthews Island Holidays, a company set up by my parents. Thank you for coming to this presentation, in which I hope to interest you in what we have to offer. We're a small family-run company, and we believe in the importance of the personal touch. So we don't aim to compete with other companies on the number of customers. What we do is build on our many years' experience, more than almost any other rail holiday company, to ensure we provide perfect holidays in a small number of destinations, which we've got to know extremely well. I'll start with our 6-day Isle of Man holiday. This is a fascinating island in the Irish Sea, with Wales to the south, England to the east, Scotland to the north, and Northern Ireland to the west. Our holiday starts in Heysham, where your tour manager will meet you. Then you'll travel by ferry to the Isle of Man. Some people prefer to fly from Luton instead, and another popular option is to go by train to Liverpool and take a ferry from there. You have 5 nights in the hotel, and the price covers 5 breakfasts and dinners, and lunch on the 3 days when there are organised trips. Day 4 is free, and most people in a cafe or restaurant in Douglas. The price of the holiday includes the ferry to the Isle of Man, all travel on the island, the hotel, and the meals I've mentioned. Incidentally, we try to make booking our holidays as simple and fair as possible. So, unlike with many companies, the price is the same whether you book 6 months in advance or at the last minute, and there's no supplement for single rooms in hotels. If you make a booking, then need to change the start date, for example because of illness, you're welcome to change to an alternative date or a different tour for a small administrative fee.
I will show you the answers for these 4 questions. So these are the answers. 11th A, then B, then A, 14th is C. Okay. If everything is wrong, everything is right, then go ahead for the next exercise. You can see these questions again. I will show it to you. Okay. Now coming to the next exercise. Now next 4 questions, next exercise, I will be showing it to you one by one and I will play it for you. Okay.
You will hear part of a talk to a gardening club about a local park. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 14. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 14.
I'm very pleased to welcome this evening's guest speaker, Mark Logan, who's going to tell us about the recent transformation of Minster Park. Over to you, Mark.
Thank you. I'm sure you're all familiar with Minster Park. It's been a feature of the city for well over a century and has been the responsibility of the City Council for most of that time. What perhaps isn't so well known is the origin of the park. Unlike many public parks that started in private ownership, as the garden of a large house, for instance, Minster was some wasteland, which people living nearby started planting with flowers in 1892. It was unclear who actually owned the land, and this wasn't settled until 20 years later, when the council took possession of it. You may have noticed the statue near one of the entrances. It's of Diane Gosforth, who played a key role in the history of the park. Once the council had become the legal owner, it planned to sell the land for housing. Many local people wanted it to remain a place that everyone could go to enjoy the fresh air and natural environment. Remember, the park is in a densely populated residential area. Diane Gosforth was one of those people, and she organised petitions and demonstrations, which eventually made the council change its mind about the future of the land. Soon after this, the First World War broke out in 1914, and most of the park was dug up and planted with vegetables, which were sold locally. At one stage, the army considered taking it over for troop exercises, and got as far as contacting the city council, then decided the park was too small to be of use. There were occasional public meetings during the war, in an area that had been retained as grass. After the war, the park was turned back more or less to how it had been before 1914, and continued almost unchanged until recently. Plans for transforming it were drawn up at various times, most recently in 2013, though they were revised in 2015 before any work had started. The changes finally got going in 2016 and were finished on schedule last year.
Now I will show you the actual answers. Now you can see these answers. For 11th C, B, B and again C. Okay. So here, so they trapped us. So they were speaking so many things. Actually, why is there a statue of this? So basically, he had to tell who was that person. She was a resident who helped to lead a campaign. That thing he had explained. That's why this thing. But he had talked about everything. Now 4 questions are there. Let's go to the another exercise.
Part 2. You will hear a woman called Alice Riches talking on the radio about a scheme which involves closing streets to traffic to allow children to play. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Questions 11 to 16.
My guest on the show today is Alice Riches, who started the Street Play scheme where she lives in Beechwood Road. For those of you that don't already know, Street Play involves local residents closing off their street for a few hours so that children have a chance to play in the streets safely. She started it in her own street, Beechwood Road, and the idea caught on. And there are now street play schemes all over the city. So when did you actually start the scheme, Alice?
Well, I first had the idea when my oldest child was still a toddler. So that's about 6 years ago now. But it took at least 2 years of campaigning before we were actually able to make it happen. So the scheme's been up and running for 3 years now. We'd love to be able to close our road for longer, for the whole weekend, from Saturday morning until Sunday evening, for example. At the moment, it's just once a week. But when we started, it was only once a month. But we're working on it.
So what actually happens when Beechwood Road is closed?
We have volunteer wardens, mostly parents, but some elderly residents too, who block off our road at either end. The council have provided special signs, but there's always a volunteer there to explain what's happening to any motorists. Generally, they're fine about it. We've only had to get the police involved once or twice. Now, I should explain that the road isn't completely closed to cars, but only residents' cars are allowed. If people really need to get in or out of Beechwood Road, it's not a problem as long as they drive at under 20 kilometres per hour. But most people just decide not to use their cars during this time, or they park in another street. The wardens are only there to stop through traffic.
So can anyone apply to get involved in street play?
Absolutely. We want to include all kids in the city, especially those who live on busy roads. It's here that demand is greatest. Obviously, there isn't such demand in wealthier areas where the children have access to parks or large gardens, or in the suburbs where there are usually more places for children to play outside. I'd recommend that anyone listening who likes the idea should just give it a go. We've been surprised by the positive reaction of residents all over the city, and that's not just parents. There are always a few who complain, but they're a tiny minority. On the whole, everyone is very supportive and say they're very happy to see children out on the street, even if it does get quite noisy.
So I will show you the answers for these 6 questions. So you can check the answers. For first, it was B, because she manipulated the things and all. 6 years ago she thought, and then 2 years ago, but then she said no, it's 3 years ago it actually happened. So now next is A, close to once a week. Earlier on Saturday and Sundays it was. So now 13th is local wardens, 14th is B, 15th is C, you can see, and 16th is B. These are the answers. Please check your answers. If 2 answers are wrong, please repeat this particular section for these MCQs from 11 to for this topic 11 to 16. Play it again.